do you know? What kinds of classifications do you know? Khushnud?
Well, there are two types of classification. The first one is genealogical classification, and second one is morphological. In general, typological. In genealogical, we learn origin of languages. And in second one, we learn types of languages.
Very good, thank you very much. Sit down. So according to the genealogical classification, what languages, what families of languages do you know? According to the genealogical classification, what families of languages do you know? What families? What families of languages do you know? According to genealogical classification.
Indo-European and Slavic and
Semitic. Yes, you are quite right. So in the Indo-European canon, in the Indo-European languages, what are they?
Latin,
Latin,
Greek,
Sanskrit.
and Sanskrit.
You are quite right, thank you very much. So, will you tell me, what language is English? Is it Germanic or Romanic?
Germanic.
Quite right. What is French?
Germanic.
French.
Romanic.
Romanic. What is Russian?
Slavic.
Slavonic. So, what kind of language is there? Uzbek language. What family do we include in?
Altaic.
Yes. So, what subfamily of Altaic language?
Turkish.
Turkish. What are they?
Uzbek.
Uzbek,
Kazakh.
Kazakh, Turkish. Yes. So these languages are Turkish languages. So what kinds of families are included into Indo-European languages? What families are included? Germanic, Romanic, Slavonic, Iranian. Yes. What are Germanic languages?
German and English.
What are Romanic languages?
French.
Italian. What are Slavonic languages?
Russian. Ukrainian.
Ukrainian,
Polish.
Slavonic, so Polish. You are quite. What are Iranian languages? Darian. So these languages are Iranian languages. Well, thank you very much. So will you tell me, according to the typological classification, what types of languages do you know? So you please.
Isolated, agglutinated, inflected, polysynthetic, and agglutinated, inflected.
Very good, thank you very much. Will you tell me, what language do we call inflected languages? What are they? Inflected languages. Khushnud, you please.
Well, in inflected languages, the border of root morpheme and auxiliary verb will be dark, so we cannot separate easily.
What happens when we separate them?
And they lose their independence.
What loses? Epsilon morpheme or the root morpheme?
Root morpheme loses its independence.
Very good, thank you very much. So will you tell me, what happens in agglutinated languages? You please.
Agglutinated languages, they are easily separated from the morphemes and the suffixes. For example, our Uzbek language can be agglutinated language because we easily can separate the addings from the main word. For example, okuçlarımızın. Okuçe is the main morpheme here, and lar it's plural, and imaz it is subjective addings, and yes.
Will you tell me, what happens when we separate the epsilon morpheme from the root morpheme?
We
Does the word loses its independence?
No. It still stays independent in both main morphemes and the addings.
Very good, thank you very much, Stella. So what do you think by the term polysemantic? For example, in what languages epsilon morphemes are polysemantic? In what languages epsilon morphemes are polysemantic? In what languages the epsilon morphemes are polysemantic?
I think polysemantic languages are, seems
Not
like one
languages,
word.
epsilon morphemes. Polysemantic. Kaysi türde epsilon morfemler kod manalı.
In Russian.
Very good,
In
very
Russian.
good.
For example, A, the addings of
In the
A,
word школа, what does it mean?
it means gender.
Good.
The женский rod.
Case,
Case and
number, declaration, yes.
Declaration, yes.
Only the epsilon morpheme express so many themes. What themes? The same of singularity, the same of his, the same of gender, etc. Good. But in the Uzbek language, the epithelial morphemes are polysemantic or monosemantic. Will you prove it?
Yes.
It's what like that.
Yes.
Who
For
will
example,
prove? You please. Who will prove? Can you spot like that? Why do we say that in agglutinated language, in the Uzbek language, the epithelial morphemes are monosemantic? Can you say that? Can you jawab that? Will you tell me? Example, mana qarang, uydagilarimizdan. Six epithelial morphemes. So each of them express the separate grammatical meaning, yes? Some of them express the plurality, singularity, case, for example, yes? But for example, in the European or inflected language, in the Russian language, as you have seen now in the word школа, the last I expresses feminine gender, singularity, common case, the first declaration, yes? That's why we say that in the inflected languages, the epithelial morphemes are polysemantic in agglutinated language. In many cases, लेकिन खूब बहुत polysemantic हम बहुत, लेकिन in most cases they are monosemantic. Mesela o keldi deganda, haqiqatdan o'tgan zamon ifodalamaydi. Uchinchi shartini ham ifodalaydi. Bunaqa xususiyatlar bor. Lekin biz tipni, how do we define the type of the language according to the phenomena which is uppermost in mind? Which one is uppermost in mind? With this phenomena we call the type of the language. Well, thank you very much. Will you tell me the characteristic of the isolated languages? Isolated languages. Will you tell me?
Yes, as isolated language, we can say that Old Chinese is ancient Chinese is an isolated language. In such type of languages, word order is so important, and we cannot mix or we cannot change order of the words.
Yes, you are right. Word order is meaningful. Yes, that is the first peculiarity. The second peculiarity, the combination of
maybe collocation, letters.
combination of the auxiliary words with the notional ones can express the grammar as it is, for example, in the English I shall go. As you see, futurity is expressed by the combination of shall with notional verb. Yes? Mana bu yerda demak so'zni o'zi o'zgarmaydi, lekin so'z nima bilan asosiy so'z mana yordamchi so'z bilan o'zaro birikib grammatik ma'noni nima qilyapti? Ifodalayapti. Thank you very much. Down. So what can you say about polysynthetic languages?
In synthetic languages, the parts of speech are not differentiated. The whole sentence is like a word. For example, women get torgen. It is like a word, but
Yes.
it's whole sentence. It
Yes.
means ya bilmayı ruku.
Very good. Correct. Women get torgen. Uchta so'z. Bitta so'zga o'xshayapti. In this language, the sentence is like
A
a
word.
word. Very good. Thank you. So what can you say about the agglutinated inflected languages? Who can tell me? Who can characterize agglutinated inflected languages? Who can characterize footnote in this?
Well, in such languages, the root morpheme consists of just consonants, and we put some signs and make another vowel sounds.
Thank you very much. But now we shall speak about our new theme, which is called the methods of investigating non-related languages. Qardosh bo'lmagan, ya'ni ingliz va ona tillarini qaysi yo'l bilan biz nima qilamiz, o'rganamiz. Mana yangi mavzuni tushuntiraymi. New theme is methods of investigating foreign and native languages. What is our theme, new theme? What is our new theme? Will you ask? Methods of investigation of foreign and native languages. Good. The plan, language is the system of science. The second, the idea of the type of the language. We shall speak what is the system of the language. What do we understand by the system of the language. What is the system? So have you found the lecture? People have been taught this one?
Yes.
So the language is considered
To be the system of science.
the language is considered to be the system of science. The social system is defined as complex subunits, where every unit receives its quantitative characteristics depending on the other units. Every unit is dependent on the other unit. All the units are interdependent and interconnected with each other. That is the system. Always where there is a system, there should be two units. When we speak about the system of the language, we must know that there are two units. There's form of meaning and the form of expression, or the plan of meaning and the plan of expression. Where the form and meaning are interconnected with each other. The form and meaning are interconnected and interdependent on each other. Forma va ma'no o'zaro chambarchas bog'langan va o'zaro bir-biridan bog'langan. When the meaning, so there is the meaning, there should be form. When there is the form, there should be the meaning. The meaning does not exist without the form, and the form does not exist without the meaning. Mana qarang, gap qo'shilgasi bor ekanki, biz bilamiz bu yo'nalishga erishdik. Agar o'sha gap bo'lmasa, biz qayerdan aytamiz bu yo'nalishga erishdik? Demak, ma'no va forma o'zaro bog'langan, o'zaro chambarchas bog'langan. Ma'no bo'lmasa forma bo'lmaydi, forma bo'lmasa ma'no bo'lmaydi. From this definition of the systemic character of the language, every phenomenon in the language structure is examined in binary opposition. Shundan kelib chiqib, tildagi barcha hodisalarni binar oppozitsiyada o'rganamiz. What is binary opposition? That is syntagmatic and paradigmatic. So the meaning of system of the language, the formal character of the language was founded by Philip Fyodorowicz Fortunato, the founder of the Moscow Linguistic School. And his theory was developed by Mikhail Nikolaevich Petersov, by Mikhail Viktorovich Panov, Trubetskoy, and by Alexey Sergeyevich Rukov. So these are followers of the Moscow Linguistic School. The founder of the Moscow Linguistic School is Philip Fyodorowicz Fortunato. So what did he do? He created the theory of form of the language. So according to him, there is no form without meaning, no meaning without form. The form and meaning are interconnected and interdependent on each other. So, proceeding from this definition, systemic definition of the language, you should analyze the relative and non-relative languages. For example, the Uzbek is the Turkic language, English is the Indo-European or Germanic language. So these two languages, inflected and agglutinated, are compared, so are analyzed on the basis of the form of the word, because you know we have spoken already that the typological classification is based on the morphological classification. Biz nima dedik? Tipologik klassifikatsiya, morfologik klassifikatsiya asosida o'rganiladi. Morfologik klassifikatsiya asosan siz nima haqida gapirdingizlar? Affixal morphemes and root morphemes. So you have just told me that in the inflected languages, the limits between affixal morphemes and root morphemes are darkened. In the agglutinated languages, the limits between the root morphemes and affixal morphemes are light. What does it mean? What does it mean are darkened? So by the separation of the affixal morpheme from the root morpheme, the word loses its independence. Nima degani? Chegaralar, o'zak morfema va affixal morfema o'rtasidagi chegaralar qorong'u degani nima? Affixal morfema o'zak morfemadan ajratilganda o'zak morfema o'zining so'zlik xususiyatini yo'qotadi. So'z bo'lmay qoladi. Mana children so'zini olinglar. When we separate the affixal morpheme the affixal morpheme of plurality, so there remains children. So as you see, it can't be an independent word. But in the Uzbek language, we say bolalar, yes? Bolalar. So why do we say that the limits are not darkened by light? Why do we say so? Because as a result of separation of the affixal morpheme from the root morpheme, the word does not lose its independence. See? Yarım saat oldu mu? Huh? One of the main ideas of linguistic typology is the idea of the type of the language. Idea of the type of the language. In order to define the idea of the type of the language, we should examine some features of size existing in some languages which make up their character. We should begin with the structure of the words. We should begin with the structure of the word. So what's word structure in English and what word structure in Uzbek? What word structure is in Russian? For example, let's take the word временной in Russian. Временной. What is the root? Времен. And времен, en, what is it? The affixal which forms the stem. What is stem? Ozak. Vrem ildiz, vremen ozak. Ozak yasovchi. And vremen ikinci en nafaneler. The second n. It is linking n. So suffix, linking suffix. Vremen noi oi. What affixal morpheme is it? It is word changing. So in vremen n word forming, oi is word changing. What is the difference between word changing and word forming? Forms.
Word changing yani şekil yazıyor.
Express
Different
grammatical
items.
meaning. Word changing morphemes express grammatical meaning. Word forming morphemes express lexical meaning. By word forming affixal morphemes, we form words, stem of words. But you see that in infinitive languages, the words exist with their grammatical forms. For example, in the word школа, a is the affixal morpheme which expresses what? What does it express? First, gender. What gender is it? Feminine gender. Школа. What number? Singularity. Нет школы, я подошла к школе. So школа, what case?
That
Common.
picture.
Common case. So, you know that in the Russian language there are three declensions, three classes of declensions. First declension, feminine gender, yes. Second declension, neutral gender and masculine gender. And the third declension, the feminine gender with soft ending. Mesela yumuşak, tavuşke, eğer женский роddagi sözler titretti. Titretti. Third class of declension, yes. First declension, aya. Second declension, aya with feminine gender. Second declension, masculine gender, neutral gender with masculine gender. And the third one is the feminine gender, yes? So in школа, what gender is it? Feminine gender. What declension? First, second, or third? First, yes. As you see, the end of the word школа, expresses the feminine gender, common case, singularity, and first declension. But as you see in the word maktab, do you find the explicit expression of grammatical meanings? Explicit degene ko'rinyapti mi? Mana rus tilida a ko'rinib turibdiki, a shuncha ma'nolarni ifodaladi. But in the word maktab, you see, we find the zero morpheme, normatema. Is explicit form or implicit form? Implicit. Normatema ko'rinmaydigan ifodalayapti, to'g'rimi? Ko'rinmayapti. Nima? Implicit form. In shkola it is explicit form. So what does the zero morpheme here in maktab express? Zero morpheme nimalarni ifodalayapti? Maktablar, maktab.
Singularity.
So singularity. And the second singularity, what is? Common case. Maktabli emas. As you see, zero morpheme also expresses some grammatical meanings. That's why I told you that in most cases, in the Uzbek language, affixal morphemes are monosemantic. But we can find polysemantic affixal morphemes also. But usually we say that in the Uzbek language, the affixal morphemes are monosemantic. Why? Because monosemantic peculiarity is found mostly, it is uppermost in our mind. Ko'pchilik hollarda bizlar mantiqlar qanaqa monosemantik. Shuning uchun umumiy qilib nima deymiz? Monosemantik. Lekin polisemantik matemalar ham bor. But we don't find prefixation. But you can tell me, teacher, there are words before that in Hausa, so we find prefixation. But these are not local Uzbek words. Mahalli Uzbek words are famous. So the prefixation can be observed in the words which are borrowed from the Arabic and Iranian languages. So that's why the peculiarity, the next peculiarity of the Turkic or Arabic languages is that we don't find the prefixation in the structure of the Uzbek language. There exists prefixation, but only in the words which are borrowed from the Arabic and Iranian languages. And the second peculiarity is that in the Uzbek language, the predicate is used at the end of the sentence. In most cases, the predicate is used at the end of the sentence. The word order is not fixed, but one thing you should not forget, that the predicate is used at the end of the sentence. See? Demak, biz nima deymiz? O'zbek tilida so'z tartibi erkin, lekin shu narsani yo'ldan chiqarmanglarki, nima kesim har doim ko'pchilik hollarda. Endi mana poeziyada, she'rlarda, masalan, hikmatli so'zlarda kesimning joyi o'zgarishi mumkin. But usually in the literal sentences, the predicate is used at the end of the sentence. And in the English language, you know that the word order is meaningful. So the predicate is usually used after the subject. Yes? So what does it mean? The word order is meaningful. What does it mean? Nima degani u?
For example, in English we have a passive voice and active voice. For example, the meat is eaten by wolf, but if we change the word order, if we put the last word, the wolf is eaten by the meat, the meaning will fully changes.
Of course.
And the
Both
meat is
grammatically and lexically.
Yeah, both.
You are quite right. So the word order in the structure of the English language is fixed. Why? For example, in the sentence, the hunter killed the wolf.
Yeah.
So hunter is the subject, kill is the predicate, wolf is the object. If we change the word order in the structure of the sentence, we change the sentence both grammatically and lexically. It becomes the wolf killed the hunter. The wolf killed the hunter. But let's do it in the Russian and Uzbek languages. Охотник убил волка, волка убил, охотник убил, волка, охотник убил, охотник волка. Or in the structure of the Uzbek language, ovchi bo'rini o'ldirdi, bo'rini ovchi o'ldirdi, ovchi bo'rini o'ldirdi. We change only stylistic coloring in the structure of the sentence, stylistic coloring. The change of the places of words in the structure of the Uzbek and Russian languages only express some stylistic coloring, but the grammatically and lexically the sentence will not change its meaning and grammatical structure. See? Now pay attention to the word order in the structure of the, for example, Uzbek language where, for example, the agreement of the subject with the predicate. Pay attention. For example, we say the family is large. My family is large. We don't say my family are large. We say my family is large. And we say my family are at table. Why do we use in the first case singularity and in the second case we use plurality? Why do we do that? Will you tell me?
For example, if we say my family are in the table, we mean not the family but the members of the family. So
Right.
family has its maybe 3 or 4 members, but my family is large. We mean the whole point of the word
Taken together.
taken together.
Yes, all the members of the family taken together. Here we deal with the term, termin, with the term family.
Yeah.
But when we say my family is large. Family oilers the terms but only. But when we say my family are at the table, we take the word family, we pay attention to the meaning of it. Not, we take it not as a term, but as the word in the structure of the sentence. We pay attention to its lexical meaning. See? And in the Uzbek language, pay attention. Oilam katta da oturuptu. Oturuptular emas. But in English, my family are sitting at table or are at the table. But in Uzbek, we say my oilam stol atrofda. Oturuptular emas. Oturuptular. As you see in the structure of the English language, the agreement with this between the subject and the predicate is very complicated. You see, when you use the singularity, you take into consideration what is uppermost in mind. So if the meaning of singularity is uppermost in mind, you use singularity. If the meaning of plurality is uppermost in mind, you use plurality. Nima degani uppermost in mind? Ustun turadi. Birlik ma'nosi fikrimizda ustun turyaptimi yoki nima ko'plik ma'nosi ustun turyaptimi? The police are coming. And you see the word police is used in singular. But we say are coming. Why? Because, for example, the word police in the English word, here the police consists of some people, not only one, of 3, 4 people. That's why we say police are coming. So, and next peculiarity is that in the Turkic or in the Uzbek language, the attribute is placed before the word it modifies. Attribute aniqlovchi qayda turadi? O'zi aniqlagan so'zi aniqlanishdan oldin. In the Uzbek language, the attribute is placed before the word it modifies. A good girl, a clever girl, a beautiful girl. Yes, it is placed before the word it modifies. And there is not agreement in gender, in case, in number between attribute and the word it modifies. Say a clever girl, a clever boy. But in the, for example, inflected Russian language, you find the agreement between the attribute and the word it modifies. Умная девочка, умный мальчик. Отец пришел, agreement, subject, and predicate. Мать пришла. Умный мальчик, умная девочка. Aniqlovchi bilan aniqlanish. Ega va kesim o'rtasida mana qarang. Agreement dedimi? Отец пришел, мать пришла. Agreement between subject and predicate. And хорошая девочка, хороший мальчик, agreement between attribute and the word it modifies. But in the structure of the Uzbek language, you find cases where the attribute is placed after the word it modifies. And we find the expanded structures of attributes. Mana qaranglar, ona bog'da o'ynayotgan jajji bolalarni tomosha qildi. Ona tomosha qildi bolalar. Qanaqa bolalarni? Bog'da o'ynayotgan jajji bog'da o'ynayotgan jajji bolalarni. Ko'rsizlar, mana aniqlovchi. Bolalarni so'zini shuncha so'z extended nima degani? Extended. So these sentences, Uzbek sentences with the extended attributes which are used after the word they modifier in the Russian and English languages are given as attributive subordinate clause. Not by attribute, attributive subordinate clause. Qanaqa berar ekan? Aniqlovchi ergashgan. Qarang, mother is watching the children who are playing in the garden. The children aniqlayapti nima? Who are playing in the garden. Butun bir gap bilan aniqlovchi ergashgan gap bilan berilyapti. Rus tilida мать наблюдала детей, которые играли в саду. Aniqlovchi ergashgan gap. Vaholanki in Uzbek it is given only by the attribute. What kind of attribute? Extended. Where it is used? After the word it modified. Now, I shall.
Başka oturabilirsem.
So I tell them. So will you tell them what peculiarities, what typological peculiarities do you find in the English language in comparison with the Uzbek one? What typological peculiarities, what typological peculiarities differ the English language from the Uzbek language?
Word order.
What order? Good. Now give me full answer, please. What order do you find in the English language, and what order do you find in the Uzbek language?
Word order in Uzbek language is free. We can change the words according to their importance. For example, bog'ga o'quvchilar keldi, o'quvchilar bog'ga keldi, o'quvchilar bog'ga. But in English, it is very important to pay attention the order of the words in the sentence because the whole meaning can be changed if we change the subject and object, for example, their place.
Now give me an example. When the change of the places of the words in the sentence changes both grammatical and lexical meaning of the sentence.
Yeah, for example, as you said, the hunter killed the wolf, but if we change it, the wolf killed the hunter, the meaning, the killers would change their places.
Yes, the killer becomes the
wolf.
sufferer of the
Yeah,
action.
yeah.
And the sufferer of the action becomes the doer of the action. As you see, the subject becomes object, the object becomes subject, and in conclusion, the sufferer becomes doer,